Welcome to the Tail Spotlight. In today's episode, the 10 ugliest and most unsafe cars ever made. Starting up with number 1. The Pontiac Aztec. The Pontiac Aztec, produced from 2001 to 2005, is widely regarded as one of the most iconic car design flops in history. While some cars improve their image over time, the Aztec remains a symbol of how a bold design can go terribly wrong. Pontiac's vision for the Aztec was ambitious. They wanted to create a crossover SUV that would appeal to a younger, adventurous audience. The goal was to build a versatile, functional vehicle for campers, sports enthusiasts, and families who enjoyed outdoor activities. The concept was sound, but the execution, not so much. The Aztec's exterior was especially angular and asymmetrical, with a front bumper that seemed too big for the rest of the car. It almost looked like different design teams worked on different parts of the car without ever coordinating. This SUV had a strange squat body with sharp lines and a rear end that resembled a pinched box. Despite its appearance, the Aztec did have some innovative features. For instance, the tailgate could be transformed into a tent, making it ideal for camping enthusiasts. The interior was surprisingly spacious and flexible, with removable seats and plenty of storage space. Unfortunately, Pontiac couldn't overcome its biggest issue. The car simply wasn't attractive to consumers. Sales numbers were disappointing, and although the Aztec gained some fame later on thanks to shows like Breaking Bad, this couldn't erase the terrible first impression. Only 27,000 units were sold in its first year, far below expectations. Pontiac did attempt to soften the design in later models, but by then, the car's reputation was set in stone. Production was discontinued in 2005, and the Aztec went down in history as one of General Motors' biggest failures. Number 2. The Fiat Multipla. The Fiat Multipla, produced from 1998 to 2010, is one of those cars that leaves an unforgettable impression, but not for the reasons you'd expect. It was incredibly functional, yet its design was so unconventional that it became one of the most controversial car designs in modern automotive history. Fiat designed the Multipla to stand out from the crowd, and it certainly succeeded. The car was built to be a practical, compact MPV, multi-purpose vehicle, with a wide body to accommodate 6 seats, 3 in the front and 3 in the back. For a compact car, it offered impressive interior space. But then there was the design. The most striking and often ridiculed feature was the front end. The Multipla had a bizarre 2-tiered headlight arrangement, with one set of lights placed high on the hood and another lower down near the grille. This odd setup, combined with its bulging, almost swollen appearance, gave the car a cartoonish, frog-like look. Despite its practicality, the Multipla was repeatedly labeled one of the ugliest cars ever made. In fact, the UK's Top Gear awarded it the title of ugliest car multiple times, but it wasn't just about looks. The Multipla actually won praise in Europe for its innovation and functionality. It was awarded Car of the Year by several automotive publications for its versatility. Fiat tried to address the backlash in 2004 by redesigning the front end, smoothing out the more controversial design elements. The update made it look more like a conventional car, but by then, the Multipla's reputation had been set in stone. Over its production run, the Multipla built a sort of cult following. Some people grew to appreciate its unique design, seeing it as a bold attempt to break the mold in an industry that often plays it safe. Others still see it as a design disaster that should have never left the drawing board. The Fiat Multipla is a perfect example of a car that put practicality ahead of aesthetics. It was a great idea on paper, but when it came to execution, the design left most people scratching their heads. Number 3. The Yugo GV. The Yugo GV, produced from 1985 to 1992, is often remembered as one of the worst cars ever made. Originally designed in Yugoslavia and brought to the U.S. market by entrepreneur Malcolm Bricklin, the Yugo was intended to be an affordable car for the masses. But despite its low price tag, the Yugo quickly became infamous for its poor build quality, weak engine, and constant technical issues. The Yugo GV, short for Great Value, was marketed as one of the cheapest new cars you could buy in America, with a price tag under $4,000. For context, that was significantly cheaper than other entry-level cars at the time. But as the old saying goes, you get what you pay for. One of the biggest problems with the Yugo was its overall build quality. The car was poorly assembled, with cheap materials that wore out quickly. Parts broke down frequently, and many owners reported a litany of problems shortly after purchasing the car. From faulty transmissions to electrical issues, the Yugo was a car that seemed to be constantly falling apart. Under the hood, the Yugo was powered by a tiny 1.1-liter engine producing a meager 55 horsepower. This made the car painfully slow, especially when trying to merge onto highways. Acceleration was sluggish, and the car struggled at higher speeds. Combine that with unreliable brakes and suspension, and you had a vehicle that was not only frustrating to drive but potentially dangerous in certain situations. Beyond its technical issues, the Yugo didn't win any points for design either. It had a minimalist, boxy appearance that lacked any sense of style or personality. It was clear that the focus was on keeping costs down rather than creating something visually appealing. The interior was equally basic, with cheap plastics and a Spartan dashboard that did little to inspire confidence. Despite its many flaws, the Yugo did have some initial success. People were drawn to its low price, and for a brief period, it seemed like the Yugo might carve out a niche in the US market. However, as word spread about its reliability issues, sales plummeted. In 1987, Consumer Reports famously declared the Yugo the worst car ever tested, and that was the beginning of the end for the brand. Looking back, the Yugo GV was a perfect example of how cutting corners to save money can backfire. It may have been one of the cheapest cars ever sold in the US, but its reputation for unreliability and poor design made it a failure in the long run. Today, it's remembered more as a cautionary tale than a serious contender in the automotive world. For some, the Yugo has gained a kind of cult status celebrated for how bad it was. But for most, the Yugo GV will always be the car that was just too cheap for its own good. Number 4. The Ford Pinto. The Ford Pinto, produced from 1971 to 1980, was a small car designed to compete in the growing compact car market. On the surface, the Pinto seemed like a decent car, affordable, lightweight, and efficient. But beneath that modest exterior lay a serious flaw that would go on to haunt Ford's reputation for years: a dangerously positioned fuel tank. The Pinto's major design flaw was its fuel tank placement. It was located just behind the rear axle, which, in the event of a rear-end collision, left it highly vulnerable to being punctured or crushed. Worse, the bolts holding the bumper in place were positioned in such a way that they could pierce the fuel tank in a crash. This made the car a ticking time bomb, literally. When hit from behind, especially at speeds over 30 miles per hour, the fuel tank could rupture and cause a fire or explosion. The problem became public in the mid-1970s after several accidents resulted in the car bursting into flames, leading to deaths and serious injuries. One of the most infamous cases involved a family that was rear-ended in their Pinto, leading to a fire that killed 3 young girls. This tragedy, along with others, brought the Pinto's safety issues into the national spotlight. Ford's response to the Pinto's safety issues was even more controversial. Internal company documents revealed that Ford had known about the fuel tank problem early on but chose not to fix it. The cost to redesign the tank was estimated at just $11 per car, but Ford calculated that paying out settlements in potential lawsuits would be cheaper than recalling and fixing all the vehicles. This cost-benefit analysis, often referred to as the Pinto memo, became a scandal in itself and severely damaged Ford's public image. Despite the controversy, the Pinto was a commercial success for a while, selling over 3 million units during its production run. But as the safety issues and lawsuits piled up, Ford was forced to recall 1.5 million Pintos in 1978, the largest recall in automotive history at the time. Ford eventually discontinued the model in 1980, but the damage to their reputation had already been done. In hindsight, the Pinto could have been just another compact car, forgotten after a few decades. But its legacy as the exploding car ensures that it remains one of the most infamous vehicles in automotive history. Number 5. The Trabant. The Trabant, produced from 1957 to 1991, is an iconic symbol of East German automotive engineering and a car that represents the complexities of life behind the Iron Curtain. While it was affordable and easy to produce, it became infamous for its outdated design and lackluster performance. The Trabant was built in a time when East Germany was focused on creating affordable transportation for its citizens. Made primarily from a plastic-like material known as Duraplast, which was derived from recycled materials, the car was light and easy to manufacture. However, this choice of material gave the Trabant a very distinctive look and feel, one that many found unattractive. The body had a boxy, utilitarian design that resembled a toy car more than a serious automobile. Under the hood, the Trabant was powered by a tiny 0.6-liter two-stroke engine, producing a paltry 26 horsepower. This engine was not only underpowered but also notoriously inefficient, requiring a mixture of oil and gasoline, which further added to its environmental impact. The Trabant could barely reach speeds of 62 miles per hour, making it painfully slow on highways. Acceleration was sluggish, and many drivers found themselves struggling to keep up with traffic. Despite its limitations, the Trabant became a cultural icon in East Germany. It was affordable for the average citizen, with long waiting lists for those wanting to buy one. The Trabant's image was intertwined with the daily lives of East Germans, symbolizing both the ingenuity and the constraints of living in a socialist state. It was often seen as a badge of honor for those who owned one, despite its flaws. When the Berlin Wall fell in 1989, the Trabant's status began to shift. Suddenly, East Germans had access to a wide array of Western cars that were faster, more efficient, and much more appealing. The Trabant, once a beloved vehicle, quickly became a symbol of the inefficiencies of the East German regime and the limitations of its automotive industry. Production of the Trabant finally ceased in 1991, marking the end of an era. Today, the Trabant is often seen as a relic of a bygone time and a fascinating case study in automotive history. It's celebrated at car shows, and enthusiasts often restore and collect these vehicles as a way to remember a unique chapter in Germany's history. The Trabant serves as a reminder of how much automotive design and technology have evolved over the decades. Number 6. The Chevrolet SSR. The Chevrolet SSR, produced from 2003 to 2006, was an ambitious attempt by General Motors to blend the characteristics of a pickup truck with the flair of a convertible sports car. However, this unique concept ultimately failed to resonate with consumers, leading to poor sales and a brief production run. At first glance, the SSR, which stands for Super Sport Roadster, showcased a bold retro design reminiscent of classic Chevrolet models from the 1940s and 50s. It featured a prominent front grille, sweeping curves, and a convertible hardtop that could be retracted to enjoy open-air driving. On paper, the SSR seemed like a fun, stylish alternative to traditional pickups. However, the reality was far less appealing. While the SSR aimed to attract a niche market of buyers looking for a vehicle that combined style and utility, it struggled with practicality. The bed was short and shallow, limiting its functionality as a true pickup truck. You couldn't fit much more than a couple of bags of groceries or some sports equipment back there. The SSR's design sacrificed practicality for aesthetics, which left many potential buyers disappointed. Under the hood, the SSR initially came with a 5.3-liter V8 engine, producing around 300 horsepower. This powertrain was adequate for city driving but lacked the towing and hauling capabilities that pickup enthusiasts typically expect. In 2005, GM upgraded the engine option to a 6.0-liter V8, increasing the power to 390 horsepower. But by then, it was clear that the SSR was not meeting the needs of the market. The SSR's high price point also deterred buyers. Starting at around $41,000, it was more expensive than many traditional pickups and even some luxury vehicles. Consumers were hesitant to pay a premium for a vehicle that didn't deliver on practicality or performance. The combination of its awkward design, limited utility, and steep price tag led to disappointing sales figures. However, after just 3 years of production, Chevrolet discontinued the SSR in 2006. The total production run was around 24,000 units, a stark contrast to the hundreds of thousands of traditional pickups sold annually. Today, The Chevrolet SSR is often seen as a fascinating example of a concept that failed to translate into a successful vehicle. It serves as a reminder that innovative design can sometimes miss the mark when it comes to practicality and market demand. Number 7. The Reliant Robin. The Reliant Robin, produced from 1973 to 2002, is one of the most recognizable and infamous cars in British automotive history. Known for its distinctive three-wheel design, the Robin has become a symbol of quirky engineering. At first glance, the Reliant Robin's three-wheeled configuration was designed to offer a lightweight, economical alternative to traditional cars. With its fiberglass body and minimalistic design, the Robin was easy to produce and inexpensive to buy. The car was primarily marketed as a practical vehicle for those who needed basic transportation without the burden of high costs. However, this unique design came with a significant downside: instability. It was not uncommon for the Robin to tip over in sharp turns or during sudden maneuvers. This led to a plethora of jokes and comedic sketches about the car. The car's reputation for instability was solidified in the public consciousness, especially through its appearances on television shows like Top Gear and Only Fools and Horses. In these shows, the Reliant Robin was often used for comedic effect, with characters casually tipping it over or using it as a prop in slapstick gags. While these portrayals contributed to its cult status, they also obscured the very real safety concerns associated with the vehicle. Production of the Reliant Robin continued for nearly 3 decades, with over 150,000 units sold. However, the dawn of stricter safety regulations and changing consumer preferences eventually led to its decline. By the early 2000s, the market was shifting towards safer, more reliable vehicles, and Reliant ceased production in 2002. Today, the Reliant Robin is often celebrated as a piece of automotive history, known for its quirks and eccentricities. While the Reliant Robin may have had its fair share of safety concerns, it remains an enduring icon. Number 8. Chrysler PT Cruiser. The Chrysler PT Cruiser, produced from 2000 to 2010, burst onto the automotive scene with a design that turned heads and generated buzz. Initially marketed as a unique blend of retro styling and modern utility, the PT Cruiser quickly became a favorite among buyers. However, its initial popularity would soon give way to criticism and disappointment. The PT Cruiser's design was heavily influenced by classic American cars from the 1930s and 1940s, featuring rounded edges, a high roofline, and a distinctive grille. This retro aesthetic attracted a lot of attention and helped it carve out a niche in the crowded compact car market. However, as time passed, the very qualities that made the PT Cruiser unique began to work against it. The retro design quickly became perceived as outdated. By the mid-2000s, many consumers found the styling more quirky than charming. Critics pointed to its awkward proportions and peculiar shape, describing it as a minivan that failed to resonate with buyers seeking a more conventional compact car. Performance-wise, the PT Cruiser left much to be desired. Initially equipped with a modest 2.4-liter inline-4 engine, it produced around 150 horsepower. A turbocharged version was introduced later, boosting power to 230 horsepower, but many buyers felt the performance was still lackluster compared to other vehicles in its class. The PT Cruiser also received criticism for its ride and handling. Many drivers found it to be less engaging to drive than competitors. By the end of its production run in 2010, the Chrysler PT Cruiser had sold over 1.3 million units, a testament to its initial popularity. However, its sales dwindled significantly in the latter years, as consumers shifted towards more modern designs and fuel-efficient options. The PT Cruiser struggled to compete with new entrants in the compact market that offered better performance, improved fuel efficiency, and more contemporary styling. In retrospect, the Chrysler PT Cruiser serves as a reminder that while innovation and uniqueness can initially capture the market's attention, staying relevant requires more than just a distinctive design. Performance, handling, and evolving consumer preferences ultimately dictate a vehicle's lasting success. Number 9. The Nissan Cube. The Nissan Cube, produced from 2009 to 2014, is a striking example of automotive design that aimed to be both cute and funky. With its unconventional styling and unique features, The Cube was an ambitious attempt by Nissan to carve out a niche in the increasingly competitive compact car market. At first glance, the Cube's asymmetrical, boxy shape sets it apart from typical sedans and hatchbacks. This design was intentional, reflecting a trend towards vehicles that offered practicality without sacrificing personality. The Cube was marketed as a versatile, urban-friendly car, with a spacious interior and a high roofline that allowed for impressive headroom and cargo capacity. Its large, wraparound windows contributed to an airy feeling inside, making it seem more open and inviting. Despite these positives, many potential buyers found the Cube's design to be too strange for their tastes. The Cube was often labeled as too weird, which hindered its appeal to a broader audience. Under the hood, the Nissan Cube came equipped with a modest 1.8-liter four-cylinder engine, generating about 122 horsepower. The Cube's unique design may have attracted some attention initially, but as more consumers gravitated towards vehicles with more traditional styling and better performance, sales began to decline. During its production run, Nissan sold around 50,000 units of the Cube in the US market. While that number might seem respectable, it fell short of expectations, especially compared to other compact vehicles that dominated the segment. The Cube was eventually discontinued in 2014, as Nissan shifted its focus toward more popular models and designs. In conclusion, the Nissan Cube embodies the challenges of innovative automotive design. While it sought to be a funky and friendly addition to the market, its unusual aesthetics ultimately limited its appeal. As we look back on the Cube, we can see both the risks and rewards of thinking outside the box in car design, celebrating its uniqueness even as we recognize its shortcomings. Number 10. The Aston Martin Laganda. The Aston Martin Laganda, produced from 1976 to 1990, is often regarded as one of the most polarizing vehicles in the brand's storied history. Known for its luxurious craftsmanship and timeless design, Aston Martin typically embodies elegance and sophistication. However, the Laganda stood out as a curious anomaly with its futuristic lines and angular styling that did not resonate with many enthusiasts and collectors. Upon its debut, the Laganda was hailed as a vision of the future. Its design was the brainchild of famed Italian stylist Walter de Silva, featuring a distinctive wedge shape, sharp angles, and an overall look that was markedly different from anything else on the road. It was one of the first cars to utilize digital displays for its instrumentation, a bold move that was ahead of its time. This emphasis on modernity aimed to appeal to an audience eager for cutting-edge technology in their luxury vehicles. However, the very features that made the Laganda innovative also led to significant challenges. The complex electronic systems that governed everything from the dashboard to the climate control often proved to be unreliable. Many owners faced persistent electrical issues, leading to frustration and a reputation for being a technical nightmare. The advanced technology, while revolutionary, often malfunctioned, causing the Laganda to be more of a headache than a status symbol for its owners. Under the hood, the Laganda was powered by a 5.3-liter V8 engine, which provided respectable performance for a luxury sedan of its size. With about 280 horsepower, it could accelerate smoothly and deliver a top speed of around 150 miles per hour. Despite its power, the Laganda's weight and less-than-ideal handling dynamics detracted from the driving experience, particularly compared to its sportier counterparts in the Aston Martin lineup. Production of the Laganda was limited, with around 645 units built during its 14-year lifespan. This exclusivity added to its allure, but the car's polarizing design and reputation for unreliability kept many potential buyers at bay. Today, the Aston Martin Laganda is often viewed through a lens of nostalgia, appreciated by collectors who recognize its unique place in automotive history. It stands as a testament to a period when manufacturers pushed the boundaries of design and technology, albeit with mixed results. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. Do you know of a car that's more unsafe or uglier? Drop a comment below. Stay curious, stay informed, and until next time, bye.